Good evening and welcome to Nightfall in Amsterdam. Tonight we are joining um, the Mage Miranda, who some of you who have been following may recall ended up stuck in the Shadowlands with the Vampire Gunner last scene as she attempts to make her way out with Gunner. On the other side of this, we are following Veronica, the Guru, who is challenging for rank and has been sent to eliminate Mage, who's draining summoning spirits and draining power from cairns, which for those of you who maybe don't follow all the ins and outs of cross-splat, a cairn is to a mage is a node, typically awakened if they have any kind of knowledge of spirits. But ultimately it's a node or a wellspring of energy to them, as opposed to the spiritual significance that a cairn has as the home of a spirit to a guru. So, what we have, we're kind of going to be bouncing back and forth here. We've got kind of two sides of this scene. Miranda and Gunner in the Shadowlands, Veronica in the material realm. For reasons not yet disclosed, these two do relate, hence we're running them as one scene. Veronica's done some fair amount of research to kind of know what she's getting herself into here. What mages can be capable of, where they reside, that sort of thing. What their capacities are. While Miranda, on the other hand, is relatively blind in this. They just kind of ended up in the Shadowlands. As they've this wasn't a planned trip, of course. They ended up through a gateway mid-conflict, kind of largely by accident. I don't think anyone intended. Well, Miranda intended to go there. She followed Gunner, but Gunner's was a big oops that's becoming a bigger oops. So, since the end of that scene, Miranda and Gunner found themselves initially on a ship that appeared to be made out of hair and nails. Not lingering too long, Gunner was pretty empathetic that they needed to leave now. And they got off the ship. In the Shadowlands, the docks of the city are not nearly as pleasant as they had been in the material side. So they find themselves heading across these docks, which is more of a shoreside, not a modern dock type setting. They've made their way towards what appear to be larger structures. Gunner is somewhat leading, not that he necessarily knows where he's going, but he's indicated that he knows that way is the direction needed. And so has headed off since then. On that Shadowland side, the docks here are these stone piers. And as you've headed away, the buildings are kind of like a generational cultural mismatch throughout the ages. You see these rundown middle-aged buildings, you see early tents, castles, and modern office buildings, that sort of thing. But he's kind of pointed towards a specific region and said, if we head that way, we should be able to find help. And has led you to what appears to be a castle. Or a tower, however you want to look at it. Not a sprawling structure, but medieval style keep, stone. One door in, arrow slits all the way up. And he says, we must make our way within.
As you wish. And she will follow him in.
On the other side, following your leads and instructions, Veronica, you found yourself outside a brick, sort of apartment building looking complex. It was gated, but the gate was open when you got here. Large double doors lead into a lobby of sorts, so it's kind of more of a like a condominium type building where they've got a front lobby and staff there, but then private residences up above. And you've been told that something's off about the building, of course, but that the concern is this source of power is at the top floor.
Okay.
But you don't know what to expect on the way up.
I'm going to activate the gift song of the Earth Mother. I spend 10 minutes communing with the Earth, but I can't take any. It's 2 noses, perception, occult, diff 7. Success indicates that the Earth tells her about supernatural presence within 100 yards per success. So just think about using that to kind of like narrow things down.
Is that right in the core book?
Yeah, W20, page 190.
Perfect. Just so I can see exactly how it's worded.
Do you want me to roll now, or do you want me to wait?
You can go ahead and roll.
Okay. Well, that sucks. No successes.
All right. Well, you don't pick up on anything. So much so that you almost wonder if you're in the right place. But being in the city, you also realize it's possible that you just couldn't get the details.
That's kind of frustrating. She's going to be very frustrated about that. The other thing she's going to do, she's going to make a perception alertness for cameras before going in.
Okay.
What would be the
standard
okay.
difficulty?
Okay. 3 successes.
All right. You do not notice any cameras.
Okay, good.
Give me a perception empathy as well.
Okay. Standard diff?
Yes.
5 successes.
You notice that the doorman literally just kind of it's like he's not even there. He's physically present, but doesn't, he doesn't fidget, he doesn't move around, he's literally just standing. Other than, breathing and blinking, he is just staring, waiting to be addressed. Doesn't even really acknowledge you when you come in unless you go up to him.
Wow. Yeah, something's off about that.
On the other side, as you guys walk up, Gunnar kind of gestures towards the door and pushes Miranda a little bit like behind him, and he says, "I don't know exactly what will be on the other side, but we need to reach the top floor. There's a ritual chamber there that I'm hoping will be manned, and we may be able to get back across."
Okay. If I knew exactly where we were, I could maybe open it myself, but I have no been here before.
The Deadlands are. It takes specific methods to get here, especially to get here and still be alive. That's our biggest problem, however, is because we are still alive, the residents will want to consume us.
And just she protectively puts a hand over her stomach.
They seek life and emotion. They're beings trapped here by their own darkness, their own sorrows, their own. And he kind of grits his teeth a little bit. Their own inner demons.
And I am a beacon of life and living.
And unless I'm damn near starving, I'm sufficient even for them. On top of that, that which lives within me and gives me much of my strength will call to them as a demon of its own.
I wonder if I can disguise that about us. Can she use like prime and spirit maybe to kind of mask their lifiness?
Um,
At least temporarily.
yeah, I would say like to kind of disguise like their aura, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay. What kind of difficulty?
Probably 5.
Spending willpower because she needs this. There's 2 successes. Would that be enough to disguise them for this scene, or can she tell that she would need more, quote, energy put into it?
No, that should be enough.
Okay. And so she sets, she kind of bites her thumb and draws a small symbol on the back of her hand and then on the back of his hand to symbolize death, as the kind of concept that they're dead and they're not living as in an old Norse symbol, because it makes sense to her right now to do it that way. That's just the fluff part of it. So, and she says that should make us less noticeable. I hope.
He nods and uh, in the like the on the stone next to the door, he with a claw he kind of scratches a similar rune, but with a couple other runes layered into it, and he says, "Next time, try this one. It is more. It incorporates the runes we use to represent the Draugr, those undead that still walk."
And
something to
she'll
consider.
take in that rune and apply it to memory. And yeah.
All right. So as you guys head in, you'll notice there are these kind of mixed groups, and they seem to somewhat ignore each other, but there is bickering between them as you move towards the upstairs. And at one point, you do even see two of these spirit beings fighting, but they seem to largely see you as a spirit being yourself. So most of them don't really interfere.
Miranda will be smiling to herself, thankful that it seems to have worked.
For Veronica, there is the building's pretty quiet. So if you're gonna start heading up the stairs, there's not like you don't really see other residents coming in and out or anything.
All right, that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna head up the stairs. It's thinking everything's really odd that it's like too quiet.
Yeah.
While going up, she's gonna activate Luna's armor, just because she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. When I find the damn thing.
All right.
But yeah, she'll be making her way upstairs. And it's like nothing else she knows is odd.
Give me a perception alertness.
All right. Two successes.
You don't even hear like sounds from the apartments, like no TVs, no sounds of people moving around or cooking or anything.
Wow.
In fact, it's like eerie quiet. The building almost kind of, other than some creaks.
That's definitely off. Five successes for Luna's armor.
All right.
I'm also, while going up, can I make a mage lore to see, like, narrow down, like, what I could be fighting? Or not? It's not enough.
You really haven't seen much like clear
Okay.
indication.
Okay. She's mostly just gonna head up the stairs, but not enough. Like, she's not gonna make a beeline and make a lot of noise, but be vigilant while going, like, quickening her pace.
Okay. As you guys near the top on both sides, Veronica, on the material realm, you can hear a chanting coming from uh, like the main like upstairs suite type of thing.
How many people?
Uh, You believe you hear about 2.
Okay.
You can hear 2 voices for sure.
All right.
Um, on the other side, Miranda, you guys hear a number of voices coming from this top room of this tower, and it's kind of like garbled and rambling. And you hear Gunnar begin swearing in Old Norse under his breath.
This is not going to go as well as we had hoped, is it?
I suspect that inside that room we are going to find these spirits harvested to empower Draugr.
Then we should put them to rest.
We can try, but they've been bound here specifically.
Can we break their bounds?
He snorts and says, "We can try, but I think I did a pretty good job."
She is kind of bite her lip, thinking and nodding. So why were you making them?
He looks and says, "Draugr are convenient servitors. They don't argue. They're far more resilient than ghouls or thralls.
So did somebody take control of them from you then, or
No, where I was making them was interfered with. I had thought to keep it within the city, people, back alleys where the homeless tend to die anyway, right or wrong. The problem was people I couldn't afford to have involved found their way there, such as our friend Air.
I can talk to her when we get back about avoiding these places.
Something tells me that she's not going to be very interested in signing off on me hunting down people and binding their spirits, especially to animate the dead. I understand that's a no among their culture. The problem is when they showed up, I had my sorcerer withdraw the spirits and bring them back here because I did not want them interfered. It put an end to the conflict. It meant no more fighting. He was able to escape. And at this point, they don't know that I'm responsible for creating numerous undead in the city.
She nods, like with a slight smile, as if it's like the most totally normal thing in the world.
As you
That
can
makes sense.
imagine, however, they're not real keen on continuing that.
I can see that. I. It is not like we are not creating life as much as we are taking life. So I do not see why they are so troubled by it.
Well, I remain fortunate that they didn't look deeper either. But either way, it means there's a number of pissed off spirits of the dead inside that room. I put them there, and they're not going to be happy about it.
Do you think they will still recognize us? Or at least you?
They may, and if they do, I doubt they're going to be keen to carry messages to the other side unless they're subdued first. But we need to get a message to the sorcerer on the other side to open the gate. I can only draw upon his power when I'm on the same plane.
She nods and she pulls out the athame of Morgan's blade, and I do not know if I can reach him from here, but he may be able to send a message.
He looks at you and looks at the blade and says, well, the problem is that knife is what binds him, and if it's here, there's nothing on the other side to draw him over. Worse yet, if it's here, he may decide he wishes to reclaim it.
She looks a little sad that when he says that, because in her mind she's been like trying to be so nice and good and connect with Morgan and or the Morgan's blade, and
If he seeks to reclaim it, to gather it to himself that he might move on, it could mean a two-fronted battle.
she will nod to him and put it away, not wanting to draw more trouble to them right now.
Yeah, kind of gives you like a sad smile and says, spirits are a fickle thing. They want our help, but they want it on their own terms. And they expect that once we've given them our help, their obligation is done, whether they fulfilled it or not.
She nods and says, I just thought him and I had become friends. I never thought that he would be angry with our friendship.
Even as friends, he does not want to be trapped for eternity.
She nods begrudgingly, having not even considered that that's how it might be perceived.
I suggest we prepare, and when we enter, we be mindful of the possibility of such a conflict.
She nods, trying to think of the best way for herself to protect herself. Um,
On the other side, Veronica, you're going to hear the chanting kind of shift. They get kind of more urgent. Seem to be responding to something.
Can I roll occult or mage lore to figure out the gist of what they're doing?
I would allow an occult.
Okay. Difficulty?
It will be a 7.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad I spent that willpower. 1 success.
2 successes.
All right. On the material side, Veronica, you're able to tell that these chants are some sort of working, but they seem to be responding to something you can't see. For
Okay.
Miranda, you can tell that something starts to stir even the spirits outside the room, and they kind of start to get agitated.
Miranda's going to turn probability into her favor as she bites down on her tongue, drawing blood, using control probability to lower her diff on everything for survival.
All right.
See, that one is a 2, so that makes it 4, 5, minus 1 for being a root.
John, how big is the door
Willpower.
from where I am in the next room?
It's like a apartment complex type. So
Okay.
it's like a bigger handicap accessible type.
Okay.
So it'll be 1 success for the scene and then 3 successes for lowering diff.
Okay.
Veronica will have her sword drawn out.
All right.
Does the apartment door have a window or no? I can't see anything. It's one of those solid doors.
It's a solid door.
Okay. What would I need to roll to open it without making too much noise?
Dex stealth.
Okay. Standard diff.
Mm-hmm.
One success.
All right, so you're able to open the door fairly quietly, only to discover it's got like a hotel safety latch too.
So I can't open it.
Luckily, you catch it before it makes too much noise.
Okay.
But you think you could probably maybe get it to flip open before opening it far enough it catches too tight.
Of course they have something like that. And I don't have, so let's see. Is it one of those like you can kind of put your hand through and like move it on the other side or no?
Probably couldn't get your whole hand through, but because it doesn't leave a real wide gap.
Mm-hmm.
But you do think you could probably get, there's enough of a gap you could maybe push it open with something.
Okay.
Um,
Like it would have to be something wedged to. I'm thinking of Leon the professional now. Would the sword be able to do that, or would it? Like if I used the hilt of it?
yeah, you might be able to sneak that through.
Okay, so do you want me to roll Dex and melee or something else?
If you're trying to fish it through there, let's go with do you have larceny?
I do not.
Okay. Let's go with like a Dex Athletics to kind of try and weave through
Wait
that.
a minute. I do have some. I could use jam technology. Maybe that'll just. What would be the diff with jam technology? Because it's based on like the mechanics.
I'd say it's harder. Going to be harder because it's simple machine, so it's harder to interfere with.
All right, then I'll go with what I was gonna do with the sword then. So you said Dex and I don't have larceny. Would crafts work?
I would say athletics would even be an option. You know, to
Okay.
kind of very carefully kind of thread it through.
Diff standard or
Yeah.
okay. 5 successes.
So you're able to get through and just flip that latch open, no problem, without making a sound. And then you can kind of ease the door further open.
Okay. Which she's gonna do Dex and stealth because she doesn't want to make any noise and see how close she can get.
Okay.
What's the diff? 6 still?
Yes.
Okay. 4 successes.
All right. So you're able to move into the room fairly quietly. On the other side for Miranda, you guys see the door actually open in front of you. And there is a pile of spirits inside, and they all appear to have died violent deaths based on the shape of their spirits. And in front of you, under his breath, you hear Gunnar swearing again. And he goes, I didn't remember killing this many.
Perhaps they have been adding to it.
I doubt it. They are not ones to kill other human. And he stops and he goes, oh, shit.
What?
I suspect they got overzealous and included the ritual for Draugr in another event recently. And that would explain why there's such a pile.
So how do we get somebody to tell them that we need the door open?
Well, I have limited ability to manipulate the spirits of the dead on this side. So, beat them into submission is probably going to be the other option.
See, this is why I need a spear that can collapse down. I have my knife. I will do what I can to protect myself and to help.
He turns and says, I have a feeling this is going to be ugly no matter what we do. If we're lucky, the sorcerers on the other side notice what's happening to the spirits and look over here before we have to face too many of them.
Can we try taking some out quietly before the most of them notice?
Yeah, looks at you and goes, subtlety is not exactly my strong point.
It is not mine either, but one or two less is one or two less. Or at least we can get to where we want to be to do this fight. Keep them funneled to the door, maybe? Or do we need to be in the center of the room for the people on the other side to see us?
Well, we'll have to be inside. That's the key. And he turns and he says, before before we go too far in here, he turns and you hear him kind of grunt, and he turns around and hands you a fairly long spear made out of bone, and he says, "Don't tell anyone you saw me do that." Much like the fangs, these are things that we're not supposed to know.
She'll nod and take the spear. I'm glad that she's been working on her melee.
All right, and as you take the spear and get ready, Veronica, you hear the chanting kind of stop a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear another voice, and it says, so there's a third voice you hadn't heard before, and it says, enough, someone comes. And you can almost hear like the question in his voice, and he says, how did they get all the way up there? without being noticed.
She's thinking to herself, like, wait, they? Does it look like they're confused?
Yeah, there are. So there's 3 older guys, and the lead one kind of looks, like the Gandalf in the picture there. The other 2 are similar, wearing robes, that sort of thing.
Where does it look like they're looking at? Is it not in my direction, hopefully?
No, they seem to be looking towards the center where there's like a small, almost like an incense burner cauldron smoking.
How are they standing? Are they all near each other, or?
Yeah, so the one is looking at the bowl, and the other 2 are kind of like flanking him.
Okay. Going to use Fatal Flaw on the one in charge. Perception and Empathy. And the difficulty is the Wits and Subterfuge. What would the diff be for that?
All right, so I would say probably 7.
All right. Okay, 1 success. And during this time, she's going to shift slowly to Kyrnos while getting closer to them.
All right, so you're shifting. Miranda, you've got the spear. Gunner's in front of you. And let's do an initiative order just for sake of sanity.
Okay.
Even though the other guys are not.
It's with and athletics, right?
Yes.
No, it's Dex and Wits. 1d10
Okay,
plus Dex
thank
plus
yeah.
Wits.
Sorry, I was sidetracked there. Yep. Brain fuzzed.
Thank you.
You roll a d10 and then add the number of dots as a straight modifier.
Okay.
So if you have 3 Dex, 3 Wits, it's plus 6.
Miranda is in 9.
Gunner acts first. No big surprise.
5 celerity will do that.
I didn't even count celerity, actually. Elder Vampire will do that, though.
Elder Vampire, that is get kinfolk.
Right.
Okay. Spirits only do lethal damage, right?
Depending on their for race, typically, some like Gaian spirits have charms that can do more.
I'll be right back.
We have Gunner. We have.
Strength +2. Okay. And I'm assuming the spear does the standard damage. The normal spear of strength +2.
Yes.
Okay. It also says that it has 2 armor piercing.
Yes, so if they have armor, they lose 2 dice from the armor's soak pool.
Okay.
And back.
Welcome back.
Alright. Alright, so Gunner is first to act. So then the Sorcerers and the Draugr, which the Sorcerers are currently unaware, so they will not be acting the first round. At least not directly. Then Miranda, then Veronica. So Veronica is first to declare.
She's going to spend 2 rage. And one of the guys that are flanking, she's going to take her sword and go for the chest.
Of the main guy? guys on the side?
One of the guys on the side.
Okay. All
I think
right.
Miranda should have declared first because mine was 11 and Veronica's, or mine was 9 and Veronica's was 11.
Did I? Maybe. I don't know. All right. Let me look. I must have.
Yeah, I just saw that now too.
I totally misread and flip flopped them. All right. So, no, granted, in this
Miranda's
case,
going to be, not that it's going to affect Veronica's declaration any, but Miranda's going to be working on parry counterattack because she wants to kind of play defensively because there's a lot of them and only 2 of her and Gunner.
all right. Then the Draugr. Gunner is blocking the doorway, so you at least have that going for you. You can't be reached. 3 of them are going to attack him. The sorcerers continue their chanting, or begin chanting again, seemingly unaware of, or just starting to respond to Veronica. The one she's stabbing for is not going to get a chance to respond because, again, he's not aware of her here. And then we have Gunner. With 3 of them, he is going to attempt to grapple, and he's going to split his dice pool to grapple one and swing that one into the one next to him, try and like knock all 3 of them over. Which he acts first. Split dice pool, but yay, potence and celerity means our split dice pool is still significant. Apparently not great though, as she just barely manages to grab one of them. But he's got that swing to hit the other one. Good lord. So he barely hits the other one, knocking him somewhat off kilter. Damage will be... What the hell? Well, in a classic subpar move, he grabs one of the Draugr spirits, slams him into another one, but not with nearly as much force as it seemed like he should have been capable of. And so they both kind of just stagger, although he retains his grip on the one he held. So that one will have to try to break free, which is the opposed strength check. Which it failed. The other Draugr spirit, one of them claws at Gunner, the other pokes at him with a sword. Claws. And I did not add my roll over to that. So I'll just do the claws. And then this sword. Gunner's got 2 silk rolls. Does terribly. Soaking the sword damage, he succeeds. But so there's one Draugar Spear Claws Gunner. He kind of seems a little bit shocked to see himself actually get torn open by this spirit. And then with the chanting on the other side, shit, that should have happened. That's incorrect. 1 success. So the lead guy says we need to continue. We have not yet been able to make our first contact. Something on the other side is interfering with the spirits. And then we have Veronica's resolution to stab one of the guys.
Yep. 3 successes. And then rolling for damage. Damn it. I didn't get any success for stabbing it. You get stabbed, but it's like no damage.
Damage is minimum 1 unless you botch.
Okay.
Botching a damage roll is 0 damage. That's it.
Okay, so it's just 1 damage.
Right. Which is atrocious, I will say. But
Yeah.
4 ones is rather impressive. Good work. So he kind of stumbles a bit, and it seems to interrupt the his chanting, at least. So then we have Miranda's action. And she was just kind of on the defensive in case anyone got past, correct?
Yeah. She didn't expect Gunner to take up the whole doorway.
She knows how big he is.
Yeah.
But
She's going to save her willpower for now.
Pushes Gunner through the door. All right. So then next round will be Miranda's first action, or first to declare.
She's going to try to move up and inside because he said we needed to get into the room. So she'll have her back basically to the wall just inside the door. And she can defend herself and or Gunner with her spear.
All right.
End of declaration. Veronica's turn.
Yep. Rage round.
Oh, fuck,
Oh, right. I forgot all about that.
I did too. So go ahead and take your rage stuff, and then we'll resolve the next round. Sorry, I missed it.
It's okay. That's why I just brought it up. Combat gets there's always a lot going on with combat, so okay, 5 successes to hit. I'd like to believe this was to make up for the bad dice roll earlier. And 4 damage. And do you just want me to roll that a second time just because they don't have rage? If it's the same action?
Yeah, you can do that.
And that's 3 damage. So that's with the 3. With the first turn was 1 damage. Second.
Yep.
Alright.
Alright, so. Alright, so he's not doing so good because he was not prepared for that, needless to say.
So is he alive or dead or just...
He's not doing so well.
Okay.
He's certainly not chanting.
My declaration's not changing.
Okay.
So we're now back to round 2.
Yep.
Going to spend a rage and same thing. Attack this guy.
Alright. The sorcerers, the main one continues chanting, the other one turns and draws like a staff type thing. The one you stabbed just kind of stumbles back and seems to be trying to figure out what to do. And then we have Gunner. Gunner will he's going to look at Miranda and say, we need to just, if we can subdue one of them, we may be able to at least get their attention enough. And since he is still conveniently got a hold of one of them.
Bludgeoning person?
Yeah. Improvised weapon, Draugr sized. He will use it rather effectively.
Oh, that's more like Gunner.
And as he swings it, it will hit one of them. He actually has to make the save. Who stumbles, so he doesn't fall into the third one. But you can like literally see them. It's almost like cartoonish as you see like their bodies deform as they collide and get crushed. On the other side, Veronica, you hear the older one in the center go, "What in the name of the gods is happening over there?" And begin chanting more furiously. Gunner says, "That should have gotten their attention. Now we just need to keep the rest of them at bay."
Miranda nods and is ready with her spear.
All right. And one Draugr is going to attack you with a sword. And you had readied a defensive action, so you can parry or block or dodge.
Parry. I'm going to parry.
All right, so that's a dex melee.
It drops 6 to 3. Spinning a willpower. 5 successes to parry, which means I actually hit him.
With melee weapons, it's just you just overcome his.
I
So
thought that set you to have.
you only do damage if you're parrying a unarmed with a melee weapon.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as he doesn't hit her, that's what matters.
All right. He does not hit her. 2 of them swing for Gunner. One of them quite successfully. Not so successfully hitting him, but hits him but doesn't do much damage. The other one apparently I can't type. Let's try this again. The other one actually does more damage. It's a poor hit. Gunner, however, has an absurd soak. And soaks both of them, shrugging them off. And then we have Veronica to go ahead and stabby stab.
Yep. Four successes.
Alright, well, he's not dodging, so
7 damage.
he can't soak enough to survive. So he goes down. And we have taken Miranda's defensive action already, so we have a rage round for Veronica.
Yep.
We got the main guy and one other guy yet. So the one like helper is down that you stabbed. The
Yep.
other one is still chanting.
I'm going for the other one.
Okay. And then you've got the main guy in the center yet over there.
Well, I'd rather
Corner.
I'd rather deal with the two helpers as opposed to getting dogpiled by all three of them.
Gotcha.
4 successes.
Well, he's still assisting a spell, so he is not acting. So go ahead and
8
roll your
damage.
Oh boy. Well, good luck, little buddy. Well, he chokes enough to stay up, but that's about it.
Is it my declaration again?
Yes, I believe Veronica only had one rage.
Yep, just one rage.
So yes, it's yours.
She's going to continue being defensive because it's working, and she doesn't care about killing them right now. Her job is to stay alive.
I forgot to roll that one.
And if nobody comes after her, she will use it to go protect Gunner.
Okay.
End of declaration.
All right. So Veronica's declaration then.
Spending 1 rage and attacking the one last helper.
All right. And we have their sorcerer, his helper, who is nearly dead, and at this point finally realizes I should probably defend myself against this thing, or at least get out of the way. Draugr, they're going to continue to attack, primarily Gunner. Again, because he's made himself the biggest threat. And we have then Gunner himself, who continues to flail around through a number of individuals, using an individual. So we'll have Gunner take his reckless flailing to a whole new level, or not. Still doing significant damage, crushing another Draugr. The Draugr kind of start to fall back, and he's actually going to, since he's done this long, and they actually stop attacking as the main guy kind of finishes chanting, and the smoke swirls and creates like an archway. Through this archway, Veronica, you can see a bunch of these like dead-looking things attacking Gunnar and Miranda. And of course, Gunnar and Miranda can see Veronica laying waste to this sorcerer and his helper. The helper is trying to defend himself, so it is Veronica's action.
She is going to finish off the helper.
Okay.
Alright, so she got a success to hit him, so at least that's not a fail. And one to wound him.
Right,
Wow.
Well, he's got a chance to dodge. Oh, it's not going to go well for him. It went better than expected, so he's able to slip past your blade, shockingly.
And then it's rage rounds. After Miranda's turn.
Yeah, so Miranda did not. Gunnar was not attacked. You were not attacked, but this gateway opened to the other side.
Miranda kind of says, "We need to go. The door is open." But she doesn't have the willpower to change her action at the moment. End of turn.
Okay. All right, so then you have a rage round.
Yep. Five successes. I don't know why it popped with all those weird numbers. Or did I do something wrong? Yeah, I did something wrong. Hold on.
Dice.
Yeah.
You just put
My-
810.
You forgot the D.
My bad.
On the upside, you got 136 ones.
So 6 successes to hit. Six to wound.
Well, since he cannot defend, he dies. And we go to the next round.
Miranda's hoping that Gunnar will head through and she will follow. Though if he grabs her and runs with her, she's not going to contest him. She has a feeling he might. Because he's bigger
Alright.
and faster. End of declaration. Your turn, Veronica.
She's gonna go for the headmaster of the right and
Okay.
spend 2 rage.
Alright, so she spends 2 rage and attacks him.
Yep.
Alright, at this point he kind of falls back. With the gateway opening, he seems concentrating on that. And will the Draugr are not acting. So Gunnar will He does grab Miranda and jump through. So, on resolution, if she's not resisting, he doesn't need to roll. He will grab her and step through. Veronica, you will see Gunner step through, and the this leader kind of strains to keep his attention on the gateway yet. And it is your action.
All right. Five successes to hit him.
Okay.
Eight wounds.
All right. Well, lacking any way to change action, he is forced to take them. And he didn't have magic to defend himself or armor. The other two are at least wearing armor.
Ooh.
So 8 damage means he dies.
All right.
So you are now standing with Gunner and Miranda in this room. And Gunner looks around and goes, "What in the fuck happened here? And what are you doing here?"
Gara business. Mages were draining powers. And I was asked to deal with it.
He throws up his hands and he says, "Of course they were. It's a wellspring in an apartment building that's so heavily tied to the Shadowlands. Who's going to want it? So that's why I told them to go." He rubs his hand on his forehead and he goes, "Fucking guru."
So did he put Miranda down, or is he still kind of holding her in his arms?
He's got her he's set her down, but still got like one arm around her, pulling her tight to him.
She will happily stay there. She is breathing heavily, and she has this bone spear in her hand. Though she's not like wielding it like defensively or offensively, it's just kind of butt on the ground and just leaning on him and it for support at the moment.
Does Veronica get the impression that Gunner is neutral or annoyed with Veronica? Or is this just a goddamn it moment?
You're not sure.
Okay.
He's definitely not thrilled with whatever the hell's going on. He looks and says, "Well, this should be interesting to see what happens." I want you to realize how much work it's going to cost me to replace them. And now I'm going to have to find a different place. I understand you have obligations of your own, but This puts me in a bad spot.
What could Veronica do to figure out how to not make this escalate worse?
Wits and politics?
Which she doesn't have that. She just has wits.
Or, what's the other? Do werewolves get etiquette?
They do.
Do you have etiquette?
I do.
Then wits and etiquette would be acceptable.
3 successes.
With 3, you would realize that while he did recognize your obligation, he also had pointed out that it incurred a cost to him, which arguably you could resolve by acknowledging that debt and offering to help balance
she'll do so.
And he says, well, I'm going to have to find adequate sorcerers who are not part of the political group that I can bind, and find a place I can host them. Some workings I can't involve the sorcerers that are already part of my group. Any kind of emotions to Miranda at that?
I know a few mages. Would it help if I propped around? I'm not sure how you wish to.
Well, the key is we need to get the ones that nobody knows.
So some no names.
Correct. People off the grid, people from opposing factions who aren't being tracked, that sort of thing.
Out of game, I'm almost tempted to see if Samantha would do it.
Oh, God.
What could I roll?
Sort of neutral.
Yeah. Could I roll to see if Samantha would be a good fit?
Sure.
What do you want? You want me to roll wits in mage lore or wits in occult?
Mage lore is fine.
3 successes.
Well, you know that she does have connections to like the regular mage society, so it probably wouldn't be the best option.
Oh boy.
You would realize that this may involve actually hunting down mages that are not known, or helping mages and capturing their enemies to turn over to Gunner.
Yeah, and the ones at the sept are probably known, the kinfolk ones.
Miranda, noticing that there's bodies, she's gonna go to them. Are they dead, like 100%, or would healing?
Oh no, they're definitely dead.
Okay.
They have been rammed through with swords. Or a sword repeatedly.
She's gonna begin preparing them for funerary rites. Even though she looks tired.
Which just sounds like this problem's gonna have to be solved in more than one day with finding replacements.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Locating mages are not known to others.
Yeah. Do the mages are they carrying anything on them that other than the one with the staff?
I mean, basic implements, basic staffs and daggers and stuff.
Anything made of silver or no?
Nope.
She's probably gonna collect like at least one staff, knowing that would be at least some proof. How do you want me to keep in touch with you, Gunnar? Or are you just gonna have someone contact me?
You will want to make arrangements of some sort, but you know where to find me.
Okay.
I will send a message if there's a particular way a particular candidate I think might be eligible.
Okay.
If any of your mage friends get word of any rivals they need dealt with, offer to do them a favor and let me know.
Okay. Any of the conversation that Veronica has with Gunnar, she'll make sure she's in very polite about it.
All right.
Miranda's staying surprisingly quiet.
He nods and says, "No, this will unfortunately likely delay unless I can find an alternative solution. But so be it."
What would be alternative solutions other than mage?
The mages are a means to an end, a way to interfere with fey magic. I don't know alternative means at this point. I will see what I can come up with. But in the meantime, we should expect that the mage will be needed.
She nods.
I assume your companions will need proof of your victory.
It's only why I'm bringing one staff, if that's permittable with you. Because out of game, she's not making this escalate further than it needs to.
He leans down and in a rather uncomfortable fashion, he drags the leader up by the hair, holds his hand out, and says, "Give me your sword."
He says that to the leader.
To you. He told you to give him his sword. Give him your sword.
Give him my sword that I got from Odin.
Correct.
Air is not going to be happy about this.
He looks at you and says, "I didn't exactly bring a blade," and he gestures back towards where the portal had been and says, "With me."
Out of game. If I give him the blade, chances are it's going to be gone. Is there a way I can find a way to like get it back if he needs to borrow it?
Well, he's literally just saying he needs a sword right now.
Okay. I can let you borrow. Hold on. I want to roll etiquette to figure out how to talk to him to politely mention that I do need this back in the future, if possible. Diff 6. Would it be for etiquette?
Yep, that's fine.
3 successes. It's just to make a clear indication, like, she doesn't mind letting him borrow it, but, like, she could be in trouble if it's, like, it's lost.
He just kind of says, "Well, I will not need it long.
Okay.
But it will be far less messy."
Miranda doesn't look happy with what she knows he's about to do.
Is it with the undead things?
He will, he takes a sword and he cuts the head off the sorcerer and hands it to you.
Okay. Takes the head.
That should be sufficient evidence.
Yeah.
Miranda shakes her head very disapprovingly.
Out of game, I was trying to avoid that for some of those reasons. But it is what it is.
He turns and says, "I suspect you do not leave the way you came in. We wouldn't
I'm
want
not.
anyone to notice you with any of your new acquisitions."
Yeah. Not intending to.
He turns and heads towards the stairs.
And Veronica's leaving through some other ways.
All right.
I'm guessing she's going to go into the Umbra.
That would be the best way at the moment, probably.
Probably.
Miranda's going to stomp off following Gunner, very unhappy at the moment.
Out of game, Gunner still has the blade, right?
No, he gave it back.
Okay.
So after Veronica is well out of earshot, Gunner will chuckle a little bit.
What is so funny?
He says, "Never should a werewolf trust that they know everything there is to know about sorcerers."
He's not dead, is he?
That is a manner of speaking, I would imagine.
But he is still yours.
He chuckles a little bit and grins and says, "The reason he struggled so much to open the gateway is that a portion of his other was not with him."
It is now all yours.
Yes, unfortunately, I cannot access it directly. His, what is the modern term, avatar. He had bound a portion of it into a gemstone.
And without his body alive, it will return to be whole.
It will remain locked in the gemstone, unfortunately. But without his body and the other half, I cannot draw upon it.
I am going to see. I wonder. I wonder if I can affect that. I'll have to keep studying. I have to do some researchings.
It had taken much work to discover the ritual, all the pieces of the ritual needed to find a sorcerer's avatar that I could use it directly. It's a type of blood magic not commonly practiced. Certainly not outside certain secret circles.
It will be interesting. See,
The problem is such things tend to limit his own sorceress ability. Hence why I have not
so
suggested it with you.
no, I was thinking of making it. I'm not sure how to put this. Opening up its potential to you.
Fortunately, as best I can tell, an avatar is incompatible directly with a vampire. Only through a human sorcerer's intermediary
So
was I
his
able to
avatar has
cast.
to have a body. See?
Not of its own, so to speak. I need a mage with an avatar, and then I can bind them in a certain fashion. Much as our bond allows a connection between us, a stronger bond of a certain variety gives access to the avatar itself.
I have a thoughts on something, but I will need to look into it. But I think I have an idea that may work. And she actually looks like she's almost happy now.
He just says, well, in the meantime, We will find us another sorcerer. Then he turns and starts to head back towards his camp.
She will follow him.
All right. And I assume Veronica's heading back to turn in her report.
Yep, to the Black Fury that gave her the mission.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing else that needs to be done here, we will wrap it up.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
It's been another episode of Nightfall in Amsterdam. Thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching.